Hey guys, how y'all doing today? We actually work on a 2005 Toyota Camry, it's a four-door sedan, a 2.4 engine. This car came in saying that this is no crank, no start. So our work is to verify what is going on with the vehicle, to diagnose what's happening. So they said they changed the starter. They thought it was a starter, and it was not the starter. They replaced the starter themselves, so they put the old one back. I still didn't get no start. But we kind of have an idea what's happening in this vehicle. So excuse me for the mess I see in this vehicle. It's not mine, it's the customer, so ignore that. So if you notice, I'm showing you right now, the shifting leveler shows that it's all the way in park, right? Look at that. It's all the way in park. You can see it visually. But look at if you look at the dash, the key is on. Because you have of course, the oil lights on, all that's normal. And your door's open, it shows the door. As you can see, excuse me, zoom up a little bit. Okay, zoom out. And you have your battery lights on, and go over here, you have your check engine light on. So those are typical things when the key switch is on. But you notice though, if you notice the letters there, the P, R, N, D, 3, 2, and low, those are your gear selectors. That's supposed to match up with this right here. You notice the same thing here. That's your gear selector. Obviously, the gear selector, exactly what it says. It select gears. That's what the gear selector do. If you notice that, that's the little release to release the shifter there. If you wanted to remove the shifter, not remove it, put it in gear and nothing is working, you can push the brake, it's not moving, or you can push this little button, put it in, get it out of gear. You can do that. I'm gonna show you. You just push that, and of course have another hand and push that back, so that will select your gear. But right away in this vehicle, I've already noticed that something's wrong. And obviously my guess right now, without even doing any further diagnostic, I can tell probably this gear selector, the bushing that's in there, is messed up or busted. And that's a common problem with these vehicles. You have on these Toyotas, you have the one end is the bushing rubber or the bushing that goes in the bottom of this gear selector, and on the other end, the transmission side, which is a bolt and the nut that's holding that, which is fine, that's perfect, that's never going to break. But in this back pieces here and the gear selector, it's after so many miles, it's going to, the bushing going to wear out, and that's common. So right away, that's my first guess already. And you notice I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now the shifter here, the gear selector shifter, notice it's in park. This is right here, it's in park. Now that I'll show it to you again. But see right now, it's in park, right? But look at in the dash. Look what we see. So the actual car, the transmission actually is in reverse. So as a result, when you turn the key, see, nothing. I'm turning the key right now. I'm gonna show you the key. See, nothing. There's no crank, and that's what they said. There was no crank, no start. Well, obviously, if you have no crank, there isn't going to be any start. But I can already know what's happening. So right away, to me, before I even go any further, I need to make sure that transmission's in park, and to make sure that this car will start. And I can go manually. I'm gonna show you this. Get out of the vehicle. And in these Toyotas, you have your starter right here. See, it had already beaten on that starter, you can tell. But here, as I was saying earlier, if I can show it to you here. Okay, there's your shifter cable that goes from inside. You can see it here. That goes from the transmission out here, and it goes inside to the gear selector we're talking about earlier. So now, if I can show you a little bit lower, let me see here. Okay, right about here, that's the nut right there, and that goes to the transmission arm right there. That will shift when the cable is pulled or moved from the gear selector. It will shift the transmission to gear or park or out of gear. Now this transmission, I'm going to push it manually, that gear selector. If I can show that to you without burning myself or anything. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to show that to you. That's my hand right here. Okay, right up here. Now I'm going to push it down. Did you hear that click? The transmission right now is fully engaged in park, and that's the result. And let's see what happens with this when we start the vehicle. So we're going back inside the vehicle. Here we go. You notice in the dash now? Look. So now we actually in park, and this vehicle should start right now. So if that ever happened to you, you can do that. But still, you have some problem, of course, putting it in the actual gear, because you're gonna have problem. Because no problem right here. It's in here. It's right in here. It's in here. This gear selector. So we have to remove this entire bezel, and to do so, we're going to show you. So, but before we go any further, I'm going to show you right now what this vehicle will do. So now notice we're in park. The dash says we're in park. Over here, of course, is in park. Before it was in park before, but remember, because the gear selector here at the bottom of it, or that bushing is busted, is not having enough friction where you need to move that cable and to push the transmission in park. So again, to show it to you, it's in park, and of course, here we go with the key. Right now, we're going to turn the key. There you go. You know, this car has started. So that was the simple fix. We're going to fix it. We not even fixed the car yet, but that's a way you can quickly fix a car with no crank, no start, especially on these Toyotas. As you can tell, we are running now. So you know the RPM is above 1,000 right now. So like 1,100 RPM. The car just started. It's cold. So that's why you see it's above 1,100 RPM. So that's what you got to do to check it out, to see how you can fix that. But now the real problem to get it fixed is here. We're going to have to remove that bezel here, the center console. You're going to need some tools such as prying tools. I got them ready, a few of them. So got the smaller one right there. And of course, we have this metal one if you need more. It's a little thinner if you get some creases here. And we'll do it and remove that bezel and then get to the that bezel and the center console. We'll see what we can do. So there it is, guys. That was a simple fix for now, for a simple diagnostic. And of course, if we need to, we can also use a screwdriver to pry off and to get more leverage if we need to. So that's the quick diagnostic before going anywhere else, trying to break the car down, do all that. And typically, if you had even after you get the vehicle in park, properly in park, and it still didn't start, no crank, no start, then you would have to check fuses, your relays, and so forth, or even ignition switch. But in this case, we don't have to do none of that stuff. Our fuses is fine, our fuses are fine, our relays are fine, and the culprit is in here, because we just show you that by pushing the transmission, put it all the way, engage it in park, and the vehicle now is running fine. So now to fix it, as we said, we're going to break all this apart. And of course, you're just going to go from here. You want to pry it, and you see all these creases here. Pry that. Pry it about right here into here. You can pry it from here. I'm going to show you. So you can put the tool right in here. You see that? It's a mess in here. So you're gonna have to pry that. You see that movement right there? You need to pry that from there, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. And of course, since you want to remove everything, you want to, there's a couple screws right in front of this here. Let's see if I can show it to you real quick. There you go. The screws are, right here in the front here. The Phillips screwdriver. We'll move that gear shifter knob, and once we do that, we can go ahead and pull that entire bezel right here in the center console. We can do that. So here we go, guys. That's it. So we'll continue with this job and see what we can do, and get this customer vehicle fixed. And we'll put a new cable in it. I'm pretty sure it's going to need a new cable, but we'll look at it as we continue this our journey in this job. Thank you guys for watching. Give a thumbs up and let us know how we did in this video, and we enjoy the comments. Please subscribe.